Hey, it's Rob from Dowdle Family Farms, and today I'm going to show you how we're designing these pastured pig paddocks. I want to show you a little bit of an overview of how these paddocks are designed, why the cross fencing is placed where it is, and hopefully it'll help you design your own paddocks for rotationally grazing cows or pigs or any other livestock, maybe even goats and sheep. And while the fencing may look different, the design itself should be pretty simple depending on your own terrain and area. So the 50 acres or so of woods that we're placing the pigs in is right behind me, almost to my left. There's a 9-acre block of woods right here that is closer to the road. And it's kind of a long, narrow strip. You'll see that 9-acre block. And that's the first part of these pastured pig paddocks that we started setting up a little over a year ago. Behind that, there's about almost a 40-acre block of woods that needs to be developed for pastured pig fencing. Now, 6 acres of that I've just fenced in, and it's kind of in a triangle pie shape because of a ditch and a road. The gravel road that I'm standing on, you can see it going off behind me a little bit, and then it makes a sharp curve. You'll see it more on an aerial view from my maps on Google Earth. But it curves its way all the way through this property. Now, this area right over here, to my left, to your right, is the 9-acre paddock of woods that we set up starting last year. And it's prone to flooding, so the pigs are great in there during the summer and the fall when there's not a whole lot of rain, or when it does rain, it's not raining 3 or 4 inches every few days. Now, due north, right over here, right where this gravel road starts to curve is a paddock that's about 9 acres, and it is divided in half. But in that 9 acres, I can graze and plant different forages for pigs. I've currently got a couple acres, I don't know how much it is right now, of soybeans that we just planted in there, and they'll grow. And then in 4 to 6 weeks, once I'll turn the pigs in there and let them eat that. Hopefully by the time it gets to that point in early September to late September, the weather will be a little bit cooler, and the pigs will be able to be out in the field, at least in the evenings and the early mornings, to forage for a large portion of their feed. Now, this gravel road winds its way through the property. It does not go in a straight line, so that kind of complicates how the paddocks are laid out. There's also a ditch that goes through the property, as well as a couple access roads. So I'm going to take you to Google My Maps and show you online how these different paddocks are designed. So again, this is the overview of the 49 acres that we will be fencing in. You can see the 9-acre paddock that's highlighted below in the blue. It is already fenced in with perimeter fencing. And if you zoom in a little bit closer, you can see the red, blue, and yellow lines. Those are just close approximations of where there's cross fencing to create 3 smaller paddocks. The larger paddock on the south or the bottom of the image, I will cross fence it later on once I get some of these larger paddocks done. As you move north of this paddock or up the image, you'll see that there's a red access road highlighted on the screen. So this 2 acres north of the access road is where I'll have the training pens, the receiving barn, and also the place where I can load pigs as we prepare to haul them off to the processor. Now, north and west of the 9-acre field, or just due west of where the training pen will be, is that 6-acre triangle paddock that's already fenced in. Just below that is the 9-acre field that we can plant crops in for fall, winter, and spring use. It's currently divided into two 4.5 acre blocks. I can do more with that later. Won't take much to fence those in, but I'll worry about that when the time comes. Now, north of the training pen, but east of Crawfish Road, there are two different paddocks that have got to be separated right now. There's a drainage ditch that crosses that piece, and I don't want pigs messing up the watershed. So I've got two different paddocks set up. The one in the red that you see that's kind of just to the right uh, of the gravel road and kind of in the center. And it's almost 6 acres, 5.5, 5.86 or something like that. And then the one shaded in white is about 5.5 acres as well. That'll take a little bit more creative cross fencing to give easy access in those areas. Now, when you jump to the west of Crawfish Road, there's a paddock that is about 14 acres. It's got two access roads. They're not gravel, they're just dirt, but they're access roads. So that 14-acre block can be fenced in. And the cross fencing on it will not be as difficult, primarily because there's no ditch in that 14 acres. So I can cut straight fence lines when I'm ready to cross fence it. Finally, there's an area east of this whole line that's 40 acres that's completely unfenced. In an ideal world, I would go on and do cross fencing in it. There are no fence lines around the perimeter of the property. It'll take a lot of work to prepare it. It'll take a lot of time. It'll take a lot of money and a lot of effort. It may be 3 years, 5 years, 10 years down the road. But at some point, I will get to that block of woods, and I hope to get it ready for pigs as well. One thing you'll notice, I do not have cross fencing in this plan just yet. I do plan on doing cross fencing. In an ideal world, I'd have the paddocks drop down in size to 1 to 2 acres, but right now I can leave the pigs in an area for a week and then move them, and the pigs don't come back to the same place for some time. Again, more cross fencing is needed, but right now I'm trying to maximize the surface area of the ground that the pigs can get on so that they can forage for more food and reduce feed costs. So this is my plan. We'll see how it goes. It'll take some time. It may be a year, 2 years, 3 years, but this is how I plan on moving forward for the time being. Thanks for watching and take care.